Okay. Hello, colleagues. Today we're going to be talking about debt and how debt can actually make you poor or rich. So, most physicians are really in significant debt. Come out of medical school, 200 to 400,000 in debt. They might have a house payment, they might have a car payment, they have debt related to uh, child expenses. In today's video, I'm going to show you how debt can be actually a dream or your worst nightmare. How I used debt to create a multi-million dollar business, how I made less than most physicians do early in my career because I thought money was a four-letter word, and how I was able to use debt to build a company that had $80 million in revenue over the course of my career. Um, In previous videos, I've talked about the importance of keeping your expenses low, following the 50-30-20 rule, how to think about assets. I told you once again that I didn't make much money as a doctor. I thought this was a dirty word. Um, but eventually, when I realized money is a tool to really utilize in life, it's a universal language we all speak, um, that I was able to harness that I used. And this allowed me to retire rich and have a higher income now in retirement than I ever did as a physician. So, for those of you that are new to the channel, I'm Ron Wuest. I'm a retired psychiatrist of 33 years. I'm dedicating the next phase of my career to helping physicians and healthcare professionals be your trusted source of information on how to avoid burnout, achieve financial and emotional well being in less than 10 minutes per day, because frankly, medical school never taught us to take care of ourselves. 25 years ago, when I heard Robert Kiyosaki say, "The rich don't work for money," I just didn't understand it. What was he even talking about? Of course, rich work for money. Wasn't that the goal? And he said, no, rich people or people who want to be wealthy, and no one wants to be wealthy for just the purpose of having money. It's because this wealth can give you time and it can give you experience and it can give you um, things that are needed in life that we want to experience for ourselves, for our family. So, what the rich work for are assets. And he kind of thought of assets as like a printing machine, something that puts money in your pocket day and night. And we talked about in a previous video how to evaluate assets. They can be appreciating or depreciating. They can be taxed advantage or non-taxed advantage. They can be cash flowing or cash draining assets. And it's how you manage that asset that really determines which categories it will fall into. So Kiyosaki really gave this idea of buy things that are printing you money. And I, again, didn't understand that. And when I finally started to realize what he was saying, I got this notion that, okay, well, what are examples of those things? What are examples of the goose that lays the golden egg? Um, uh, Again, real estate. Um, that was the first one that he talked about. The great thing about real estate is that you can use other people's money to pay for it. Real estate often appreciates, not always, and it can be tax advantaged if you manage it right. So that the business that I started to create, the medical business, which was focused on purely doing the right thing for patients, started to then pay for the real estate that my business was in. And over time, I was able to continue and replicate this process that I had to open an office, buy the real estate, and the business would pay for the real estate. You could borrow the money from the bank. Um, and this doesn't just have to be real estate, it could be other types of investment too. But most physicians are really doing is they're just work and put money in a 401k. I'm not saying you shouldn't or you should. Always consult a financial advisor that you trust for what you should do. I did do a 401k also, but I diversified into real estate. And when I did that, I saw that I didn't have to have the money to pay for the real estate. The bank was willing to buy most of it in the name of the company or LLC that I put it in. So the bank loaned me the money, and the business paid for the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, essentially the real estate. And now I have the cash flow that comes from the real estate that I can live on and invest in other things. Now, this again doesn't have to be buying office buildings. It could be buying an apartment building, buying another business that your spouse could run. There are many other things it could be, but this is an example of how borrowing money can make you wealthy. Now, if you have things that are depreciating assets like cars, clothes, those things should almost always be paid for in cash. The only time, at least Kiyosaki says, that you want to consider using debt is when you have a cash flowing asset, and preferably a cash flowing, appreciating, and tax advantaged asset. We'll go more into this in future videos, but you've got to start out keeping your expenses low, or if you're a mid-career physician, you've got to turn that corner and say, look, I'm serious. I'm tired of being burned out. I have to get control of my expenses so I don't have to keep working more and more and more. I've got to follow the 50-30-20 rule. And by keeping your work hours low in medicine, you'll have the and the time to really develop yourself emotionally, financially, spiritually, physically, professionally. And then what do you want to do with your life in the world? How do you want to manage your time and your experiences? So that's the start. Again, think of me as a coach. I'm not a financial advisor. Consult a trusted financial advisor. And I don't necessarily mean just somebody who's going to tell you to invest in stocks and bonds. I mean someone who really knows different ways to utilize finance, diversify outside the stock market, and start to build wealth for yourselves, for your family, because again, money is potential stored energy for time and for experiences and for things. And that's what I want to help you do. I don't want you to quit medicine. People need us, and our patients need us. So if you like this video, please click on the like and subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. You can email me at drronwiest@gmail.com. That's drronwiest@gmail.com, no spaces. And tell me other content you'd like to see. This will allow me to continue to create content that's important for you. That's all I have for today. You have a great day. Thank you.